We'll get to that later.
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me talk. So Chris Cody said
hello
earlier, and he brought it up, and I did think it was funny that he's wondering whether the College Football Committee does indeed get together and every week they just don't know what to do. Like they're really wrestling with how it is to make some of these decisions, because I believe all of these old white men get together, and I believe they're getting together and saying, what do we need to do to make this the best television for next week? I believe that's part of the conversation. I don't think it's the entirety of the conversation, but I think it's absolutely part of the conversation. How do we create arguments that will sustain us for the next 6 weeks? What says college football more than the faces on these people? Is that Ivan Meisel? It is Ivan Meisel.
Isn't he a writer?
Yeah, he just wrote a book on Notre Dame, too.
We got to get Ivan Meisel on the show and grill him, because I want to find out what's actually going on in these meetings. Ivan Meisel has covered college football for a long time.
What's going on over here?
And I think he's disgusted by Mike Riley. I think he's disgusted by Jeff Long. I think he's tired of Chris Alt and Troy Dannon. I think that all of these people are bothering him at this point, because
Chris Alt's good.
He cares.
Like Chris Alt.
He cares about college football, and I think he finds what is happening offensive. But do you think they get together and they're just genuinely they're really
do you think they have it all
arguing
planned
about
out?
this?
Do you think that they have the next week, if this happens, or do you think it is still a heated debate and they just can't decide? And that, because I feel like that they have it all planned out, and I'm annoyed at that. I don't because I feel like they are going to do the thing.
I mean, Hunter Yurachek did come out and say, for several weeks, he always mentions a scenario that they didn't even bring up. They didn't even mention, they didn't even talk about that. Seems kind of wild. That was, we're not even going to touch that.
He's lying.
Right there.
He's lying. That's all it is.
But it can't be what Dan is saying, where how do we make this the best television product?
I think it's part of it.
What I'm saying.
I think it's part of it. I don't think it's irrelevant.
I don't think that's said out loud, though. You think that's said out
yes,
loud?
Yes, I do.
How do we make people angry?
How do we create the most conversation? Yes, I don't believe it's something that's ignored. I don't believe they're going there in the spirit of purity and saying, let's not make a made-for-television
I have
product.
them as an actual jury that as soon as they agree, all right, that's it. I don't know.
Mike thinks Notre Dame is proper bleeped already.
Yes, they're screwed. They're absolutely screwed. BYU is not going to play a football game and not move in either direction. They could win, that screws Notre Dame. They could lose, then it puts Notre Dame and Miami right next to one another. And then we've gone from we don't know about tiers to the notion of pods to they're not in the same tier to they are in the same tier. No more buffer teams. You go toe-to-toe like they went on the field. I mean, forget Miami, yes, to make the playoffs. That's a different discussion. The bet to make here is Notre Dame to miss the playoffs.
I don't know, man. You're way more confident than I am.
You're counting on, if you're Notre Dame right now, you have a game between Texas Tech and BYU. It's going to affect the rankings.
What about the Boise game?
BYU is not going to stay still. Your one-team buffer is not going to be there.
They lose.
No, but that's why I asked, what about the Boise game?
Boise is playing a Mountain West championship
and
against
what if Boise
UNLV.
wins?
We'll see.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters.
Why
What
do you
you're
say it
hoping
doesn't
for.
matter?
The only reason that matters is if James Madison loses. Boise is irrelevant unless James Madison loses and
Why?
maybe Duke wins.
It could affect.
Why? It helps Notre Dame's strength of schedule.
It could, but these teams are so close in strength of schedule. To cite any metric, I can.
Of course, they're so cose in everything. Yet Notre Dame is still 2 spots ahead of Miami. So that's what I'm saying.
They're 1 spot ahead of Miami right now. If you're Notre Dame, here's what you're rooting for. You're rooting for BYU to stay idle somehow, so you can keep having that, which is not going to happen. It's never happened in the history of the CFP. Much like teams that have the same exact record. Two things have never happened: a team staying completely still after a conference championship game, win or loss, and two teams that have the same exact record, and the team that lost a game being ahead of the team that won the game. That's never happened either. So you're hoping that Alabama gets its doors blown off by a head coach that's 1-8 all time against Alabama. I'm sorry, folks. Notre Dame is screwed.